You're welcome again. It's still Wake Up Nigeria. Now, you see, almost everyone who has been in a relationship and has had a breakup at one point or the other would be able to relate to what we're talking about today. But how do you move on from this breakup when it happens? That's why we have relationship coach Sandra Odufaderi here with us to answer this question that many people want an answer to.
Yes.
So how do I'm just going to hit the nail on the head. How do I move on from a breakup?
Okay. First thing, you have to believe that it wasn't your fault that you broke out of that relationship. Yeah, like they always say, a broken marriage is better. A broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. Mm-hmm. Now, look at all those things you have done to make the relationship work. And it didn't work. That's the way I look at it. And then ask yourself, if he or she really wanted you, he wouldn't have misbehaved or walked out on you. The best thing to do is first is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Don't blame yourself on anything. I used to say to people, if I take a decision, I might be taking time in taking my decision. But when I move on, I move on. I don't go back. So take your time to be sure that you have tidied up all things, you have tried to make it work, you have tried everything. And if it's not working, my sister, don't blame yourself. You know, move on and don't start going to sit down and start crying. A little girl walked up to me and said, I can't even sleep. He cheated on me. He has walked out on me. I said to her, say, you're crying now. Are you sure he's not with another lady? That was what I asked her. And she looked at me again and said, yes. Because if you mean so much to him, he wouldn't work out on you. You carry him so much on your head, but he's not. So in a relationship, I always beg ladies, don't beg a man. I don't beg people, even in friendship. I don't beg people to be my friend. If you like me, and we are moving on. But if you don't like me, I'll allow you be.
Sandra, we're looking at this from an angle of someone decides to leave for another person. But you know, there are different factors that lead to heartbreak. There's a situation where somebody probably, you know, some people don't start their relationship with finding out their genotype, for example. And in that kind of situation, they go their separate ways.
Oh my God, you want to make me cry now.
Oh, you've undergone something like that.
Not really. Not like, because I am AA, so anybody that comes goes. For me, I've always been AA. But I had issues when I was very young. You know, one of the main things is we are not enlightened as young people. As a young girl of about 18 years, I was in a relationship before I got married, and the guy broke my heart and all that. So it really affected me. And then over time, I started saying to myself, what did I even see? Why was I even killing myself all the while? Now, in a situation of AS,
there had to be a mutual breakup.
It's so painful. It's always so painful.
So
that's
how
why,
do you move on
well,
from stuff
nowadays,
like that?
if you meet a guy, I think you should go and check. Just go and check, you know, the AS thing. Because we have found out a lot of people that are in love, sometimes they will say God will change it. Let's be truthful. I know God will change it, but sometimes if you don't have that faith, don't move on. You have to go your separate way, but you will make yourself friends.
Sandra, say for example, I'm going to say this from my own personal experience. Now, there are times that I do my genotype test. I find AA.
Okay.
Perhaps due to what is being used, but my correct genotype is actually AC. Now, because I believe I'm AA, I meet somebody that is AS.
Okay.
And then we start going out, and in the course of, you know, doing more tests, I find out, oh, I'm AC. Now, AC getting married to AS is kind of tricky because you can end up with an SC child.
Yeah.
So in such a situation where you have to move on, you've checked it, it's not your fault, the heartbreak is heart-rending. What do you do?
That one is really breaking my heart right now. But the thing is, you have to break up as friends. You have to really understand. But you will not just leave yourself. You will wait for the other person to find somebody. You can still be friends, but that intimacy will not be there.
So if one person finds and the other person hasn't
both
found,
of you can just keep going on as friends. Because you already, this is mutual. It's your life. It's your future. These are your future children. Now you need to now help yourself to find partners.
So how do you move on in such a situation?
Well, you sit down, and of course you've gone for the test, they've told you these are the issues, you discuss it. How do we move on? We can't break up now because we are so much in love. Okay, maybe somebody, let's stop. If we have been calling ourselves for 10 times in the day, let's reduce it to 2 times. If you have a relationship, you can introduce her. It's painful, but you have to not look at what, don't be selfish.
Yeah,
don't look at
how
it now.
do you handle that pain?
That's what I'm saying.
That's where the problem is, because it's easy to say we'll talk about it, we'll call each other regularly.
You should not leave yourself immediately, because you didn't break up on a bad note. You're breaking up for good. So have you ever seen a relationship where you're in a relationship with someone and there's no intimacy? You will now switch over to the platonic relationship. You know what the platonic relationship is?
Of course.
No sex, no intimacy. You are just friends, helping each other to discover purpose. So by the time you find yourself and you are not doing well, you are not into yourself, you cannot let go. Don't continue that relationship after marriage,
Sandra,
because you might cheat on your husband.
Sandra, your colleagues, you guys see each other every day. You were planning to get married. This happens. You still see each other every day. There's no possibility of getting a job elsewhere anytime soon. How do you handle such a situation? You work in the same department.
If you're still friends, it will be very easy. You have a guy that is toasting you. You can just, not for a jealous guy. You know some guys are very jealous. You can still come and tell him. But for the jealous one, you just have to make up your mind, my sister. You have to move on, because it's your life. You have to forgive yourself. It's not your fault that you are having that kind of genotype. You have to accept it. You have to first accept the fact that you ask yourself, do I really want this for my children? If I want this for my children, fine. If I don't want to be running, do you know the pains? You have to go in from one hospital. Sometimes they will say you should try to take the child abroad. At the end of the day, two of you might end up divorcing yourself, because you might not even find that love again. Marriage is deeper than relationship. Like I will always say, it is true life story. When you now get into the marriage, you will not know what you're doing to yourself. So you have to now bring yourself to the reality. Over time, you'll get over him. You're still feeling that way because maybe you are still connected. Let go of him. Don't connect yourself anymore. If you let go of him, you will move on.
So much focus on the female.
Yeah.
The male gender have such issues as well.
The same goal to the
but
men.
It's been a fantastic conversation, Sandra.
Thank you so much
so much for being here.